Welcome back to our finale episode of Season 1 of Luxe Insider with me, your host, Anita Khatri. If you have been with me through this season, you know that the industry is here to stay and grow in India. It has been recovering periodically from the loss of business in the early stages of COVID-19. Indian celebrities have become friends of brands for prestige brands boasting of a lineage of 100 plus years. The cherry on the cake being an announcement from last week. Any guesses? Deepika Padukone. Deepika Padukone became the first Indian house ambassador for Louis Vuitton. Wow! We have surely come a long way. And like our Chinese and South Korean counterparts, I'm sure many more Indian faces would join the list. I always dreamt of seeing an Indian celebrity as an ambassador of a prestige luxury brand. And with this news, one of my dreams has come true. The other dream is to have a high street like a Bahnhofstrasse in Zurich or Champs-Élysées in Paris. Hopefully, this too happens soon and we keep our fingers crossed. From Deepika Padukone, I moved to Ranveer Singh. Ranveer Singh has been in the news for his latest movie release, Jahish Bhai Jordar. You may be wondering how this is connected to luxury. Well, I'll tell you. The flashy looks during the movie promotions all across social media is the connect. I'm sure many of you would have also seen the big bling on his wrist, the Frank Muller timepieces. This is one association where I have seen a celebrity fall in love with a brand, and in every opportunity he gets, Ranveer is seen sporting the timepiece. Frank Muller, the design and a philosophy are well ingrained in the actor's personality, his ethos. And I'm not surprised that this Swiss watch brand decided to invest with Ranveer. A right choice indeed. I had a chance to meet both Ranveer and the brand representatives during the former's announcement as the brand master of Frank Muller in 2019. If you haven't heard about Frank Muller, the brand is a fairly new brand that does not boast of a long history, but surely has some of the most stunning complications with big, uniquely shaped dials and often studded with diamonds. One of the well-known collections is called Crazy Hours with jumbled up and colorful indexes on the dial. You must go check out the Instagram pages of Frank Muller or maybe just Ranveer Singh's, and you would know what I'm talking about. And if you haven't already guessed, the final episode had to be about watches. You cannot take away watches from Anita Khatri. I've said this before, and I may sound repetitive, but still saying it, that watches is my first love. And in this episode, I'm joined by not one but two guests from two independent watch brands. First one is the CEO of Frank Muller, Mr. Nicola Rudas. With 31 years of capturing the hearts and minds of watch enthusiasts, the brand was founded by Frank Muller and Verton Cermakes at Geneva. At a time when round and rectangular watches dominated the market, Frank Muller introduced a case with a rather odd tonneau shape and a curved body known as the Sindri Curvex. And at that moment, the brand's unique identity was born. They also launched another interesting collection in 2013 called the Crazy Hours collection, which I had mentioned earlier, wherein the numerals on the dial are in complete disorder, yet the watch tells the time perfectly and accurately with the help of its innovative jumping hour mechanism. Without wasting any more time, here is my rapid fire with Mr. Rudaz. Let's hear straight from him on the brand here in India. How has the exhibition been after 2 years of lockdown?
Well, it's been tremendous to find our clients again and our
Okay.
agents from around the world. And I think everyone's been very excited
Okay.
to be here.
Okay. And do you feel that the personal touch is different? So, has the personal exhibition, the personal touch, do you agree that the personal touch is required?
Of course, the DNA of Frank Muller is what our agents and clients enjoy. And they just enjoy visiting Watchland and discovering our wonderful new collection.
And how's India market been? And what do you aim in India?
Well, the Indian market has been tremendous. It's grown tremendously. Our distributor and retailers have been doing a fantastic job in India, and we've been delighted to be working with Ranveer Singh.
Do you find that Indian customer is far different than any other customer elsewhere in the world?
Well, of course, each geographical area has a different tendency, different appreciation. And for example, in India, one model that works extremely well is the Galet. Compared to other countries, the Galet does not do so well.
And what do you think is the reason why Galet does so well in India?
Maybe it's the soft touch of the watch. It's very soft. It's very...
Yeah, it could be that, for sure. But you have India's heartthrob as a brand ambassador.
Correct.
Ranveer Singh.
Absolutely.
How has the journey been so far with Ranveer Singh?
It's been a fantastic journey with Ranveer Singh. And not only it's just purely commercial, but Ranveer Singh is genuinely interested and touched by the Frank Muller brand. And one story he told me was the fact that he had always dreamt of buying a Frank Muller for his mother. And recently he was able to do that. So he was very chuffed. And of course, the mother was very happy too.
So do you think having an ambassador has really helped? Ranveer coming on board has helped?
Well, effectively, it's not the policy of the company here in Geneva to have ambassadors, but locally, depending on the distributor, they will have local ambassadors, which are much more adapted to the local market, because you cannot have a worldwide ambassador necessarily. But in India, having Ranveer Singh on board with Frank Muller has been a great journey.
Anything specific for India market?
Well, I think we're developing a few limited editions. Well, I'm glad to say that our Kapoor retailer in India is manufacturing a limited edition, which he'll be presenting to India this year.
Hey, congratulations. That's
Thank you.
Really nice.
And I hope to be in India for the occasion very soon.
And that is approximately this year for sure.
It's this year.
This is really exciting. Congratulations. We really look forward to welcome you.
Well, that's very kind. Thank you very much.
So it's a specific design, which is India specific.
It's going to be a Vanguard case, and it's going to be a limited, unique design for Kapoor. And that was Mr. Rudas. Post my conversation with him, I got to experience one of the novelties launched by Frank Muller this year. It was a fabulous, complicated piece where the tourbillon is in the spotlight, placed at the center of the timepiece. One of the complexities of the collection lies in the fact that the Frank Muller teams had to rethink the watch in order to move the tourbillon from its original position at 6 o'clock to the center of the watch. In addition, Frank Muller designers and watchmakers had to find an innovative way to place the hour and minutes hand around the tourbillon cage, highlighting the beauty of the piece. Please check out my YouTube and Instagram profile to check out this beast. It is priced at rupees 1.25 crores plus taxes. Moving on, how many of you have heard about a watch brand called Bovet? If you haven't, it is best to hear about the brand straight from Bovet's CEO, Mr. Pascal Raffy. What your experience in India has been?
Oh, my dear Anita, before than anything, I have to tell you that I thank you very much to visit us today. And particularly in 2022, we are celebrating 200 years of existence of the House of Bovet. The House of Bovet And we will very easily connect to India for a lot of very good reasons. The House of Bovet is thought and made, crafted with true artisans for people who have nearly nothing anymore to prove in their lives. And I would like to explain. We come nowadays to realize that this word became very massive marketing. We understand that nowadays it's unfortunately about social codes of recognition. The House of Bovet is thought for people with education, knowledge, who do not need to show off. They need to be sure that what they have on their wrists have substance, density, true values, artistry, while mastering true mechanics. So the House of Bovet is made for people of true values, tradition, and tradition does not mean old-fashioned. I will experience sharing with you that a house of 200 years is able to be as young as you will discover we are 200 years young and not old. And related to India, as you know, the House of Bovet has a lot of density in terms of craftsmanship. In India, my dear, between architecture, the way you are dressed, and congratulations for the beauty of your dress.
Thank you.
This is Bovet. It's about detail with good taste. It's not about quantity. Everything is about quality. So in India, we are delighted to be there. And our partner, Mr. Yasho Sabu, with his son Pranav, the House of Ethos, absolutely understood that the House of Bovet is not about massive quantities. It's about refinement, detail, that density, that substance for people who have education and truly appreciate to collect timepieces, handmade, mastered in the mechanics, and I very much insist in a way to dress the timepiece which is so elegant, refined, and subtle. This is the House of Bovet.
Yes, a brand for those who have nothing really to prove to anyone anymore. The kind of the watchmaking flair displayed by the House of Bovet is phenomenal and much true to their tagline, engineering brilliance. Helmed by Pascal Raffy, the independent brand has a rich history of 200 years, which they celebrated this year. Bovet has always been a brand with a particular fondness for watches that show multiple time zones. Its founders were conspicuous world travelers, notably bringing Swiss watchmaking to China. This brand is also known for introducing the Amadeo convertible system that allows conversion of a watch into a table clock or even a necklace without the usage of tools. What actually this means is you do not need any external devices to change the timepiece from a wristwatch to a table clock or a table clock to a pendant. It has a lock near the winding key on the crown that helps one simply unlock the usage as the owner deems fit. My conversation with Mr. Raffy was enriching and enlightening. I had seen and heard of him, but this was my first meeting with him. He was vivacious, energetic, and had a happy, warm personality. He was a thorough gentleman. His passion for watchmaking and all about details was so obvious. While he spoke to me, he also commented on my detailed design address within a few minutes of our meeting. Let's hear straight from him more about the brand and its plan for 2022. How many pieces generally, you manufacture?
It depends. We will never overpass in the present perimeter of territories where I made the decision to accept to have partners. You know, when you have such density of humanity, artistry, thanks to the Bovet extraordinary team, it's not about running after turnover. It's to be very much sure that the ambassadors, the partners, truly understand that education for beauty and uniqueness. And today we are handcrafting around 1,000 timepieces every single year.
Okay.
But I very much insist to say that doing our cases, dials, hands, movements, and hairsprings, And not only for the House of Bovet, for very reputable and very respected brands. We master the hairspring, up to the hairspring. The House of Bovet has a capacity of more than 2,500 timepieces per year.
Okay.
So in my position of owner who wants to warrant perenity, we have a reserve of capacity when we will find the right partners in the missing territories to fulfill, respect, bespoke for the biggest pleasure of true collectors.
Fantastic. After these 2 years, which have been difficult for the entire globe or the world, how has your experience been, and did you feel there was any change in the consumer behavior or your approach towards the consumer in the last 2 years? And how do you feel today? Because, you've been able to receive your customers, right?
I have to tell you, the House of Bovet is all about humanity. People are frightened to show their true feelings. If you are sure of your values, very solid thanks to your teams of artisans. When I say artisans, I'm talking about the 97 human beings. Are they in finance department, in logistics, or true engraver or watchmaker, engineer? They are all artisans and true artists because they share the same philosophy for the beauty and set uniqueness. And this period, we had, since I took over the House of Bovet, 3 major periods of true crisis. 2008, as you know, October, massive, globalized, immediate. Then 2015, January 2015, where the Swiss franc became floating. And then the pandemic followed, unfortunately, but what is happening around the globe. What saves the House of Bovet is that our partners, first of all, are loyal human beings with true education. I would start saying in the Middle East to have such true partners, starting with Dubai, where people have a true education for luxury, their families, their roots, their tradition. When I go to my dear Yashu, when I go to Japan, when I can go to the United States of America or in old Europe, what saves you? People see that you never change your behavior, see that you are loyal to the principles, to true friendship. And collectors also do understand that even if you could have some issues of after-sales service, you're here to serve a collector, to make him pleased, and then people stay loyal to you. Integrity is important. Integrity like at home, when we talk to our children. So when you defend artistry, true watchmaking, it's all about education. It's not about anything else. You can buy all the buildings you wish. You can finance all the machinery you wish. There's only one thing you cannot afford. Whatever is your wealth, a sincere smile. So this house is Singh into integrity, the true love for watchmaking, thanks to your exceptional artisans, and also to people, the collectors, the ambassadors, the partners who understand that in this impersonal world, it's very important to save true values, perenity and sustainability.
So what is new in 2022? What is the new that you have?
Oh, another expression of what sustainability in the collection has to be. We are a house of 200 years of patrimony and density. When Edouard Bovet, the visionary young man, went out from his village of Fleurier to go to London and then to Guangdong and discover mainland China and Chinese culture, he traveled. This is why you see in our collections a lot of traveling mechanics. The double, the triple time zones, and then the astronomical timepieces. By the way, I very much insist in saying that sometimes people thought that we are doing astronomical timepieces because it was a fashion or trend. I don't like the word fashion. Fashion is ephemeral. Tradition lasts. And when Edouard Bovet went up to Guangdong, he has been, I guess, by horse, walking by boat. So he was admiring the chart of the planets as the sky, the moon, and the 3 things we need, water, sun, and moon. And all the timepieces are related to that. And art is universal. When you open your mind, you design and bespoke 40% of your collections because you do respect your collectors. And in India, collectors love that we bespoke on their taste, and we're delighted to do it every single year. So the universality of art made that we presented officially this month our universal hours on a beautiful 42 millimeters, so beautifully seated on the wrist. So it's not only beautiful on its aesthetics, You adjust your time zones, the 24 time zones, exclusively from the crown without any tool. So the universal time, Orbis Mundi, is one of the main timepieces of the year. It is presented in titanium polished case or brushed or in red gold. And afterwards, you would engrave your movement, present your dials in different dials. It is what the house knows to do since 200 years. So the Orbis Mundi is one of the key timepieces of this year.
Okay, that's great. In the world of digitalization and with NFTs and blockchain, what would you comment on that?
I have no comment today. I am awaiting to see if the project we do have, because it has a deep sense, is going to come to maturity. I respect whatever is done, but we will see for the house of Bovet.
So you're open?
Always open. The worst, and whenever you defend art, is to be stubborn, eyes closed. Open mind is important. And for an international universal house, the Bovet timepieces are collected in all around the 5 continents. People appreciate. In the restoration department where I received timepieces up to now from the 19th century, all nationalities are nearly concerned. So of course I'm open, because art is universal.
You mentioned some time ago, or just a few minutes ago, about fashion, something which is changing. I would like to hear from you whether you see any trend in the watchmaking, especially in the fine watchmaking.
I never comment. I love humility in life. Humility is not weakness, it's to be very strong. I don't like to comment. Why? I only comment when I know 100% of all the elements composing a situation. What I can comment is what I think about trends.
Okay.
A trend is ephemeral. Tradition it's ephemeral. Okay. It's a trend.
Okay.
Tradition lasts. Then what is your project for your house? Is it perennity? Is it sustainability? Then you follow your path. The important is never to sell your soul. And then your collector will understand that all through the decades, there is a logic for this house. This being said, it doesn't mean, because in trend, is it fresh? Is it modern? It's not the same thing, it's a trend. A trend can be boring, ugly, or sustainable, with density and substance. So for me, a trend is in the concept of ephemeral. But I love what is new, innovative, interesting, exciting, in mechanics, in the way to present a timepiece. Is it the strap? Is it the shape of a buckle? Is it the box itself? One of these. You see, I have here on my wrist a Virtuoso 8 with a DLC titanium case. It's a 10 days power reserve baby. The rewinding system is patented. You rewind 10 days of power reserve in less than a minute. It has a huge big date, a true big date. And then luminescence. This is an Apple dial. Where is the beauty of it? You don't need to apply a light with luminescence. I promise you, Anita, you go outside, you enter in your house, you will see these dials beautifully speaking to you. But it is months and months of research to have the right density of luminescence together with the color you want to tune. And afterwards, when you look at the open case back, you will see all the finishings that we display in the house. So inside the heart is dense and the heart is big. This is the house of Bovet.
Fantastic. You have any message for Indian customers, your Indian collectors?
I kindly ask them never to change. I tell you something. India, as you know, has a big density in art, culture, architecture. The link they have with the house of Bovet is natural. I want to insist on natural. There is a normal link. When they are asking for a special engraving, a color of dial, what they want to see displayed on the dial, it's because they have the density of the culture. And you know much more than me. Sure. This is why I was saying, what a beautiful dress with these pastel tones, flowers displayed with elegancy, the right cut. This is all about the house of Bovet. Detailed with good taste.
During my conversation with Mr. Raffy, I learned he had never traveled to India. Yet, he spoke with such passion and conviction about the Indian market. And I would love to see him soon, maybe in India. Watchmaking is an art, period. Over the last month or so, seeing the many novelties launched, I cannot wait to see and discover what is in store for this industry. Yes, these watchmaking houses make timepieces that simply tell us time. But luxury is all about the appreciation of finer details. It is understanding these details to get quality over quantity. And luxury, therefore, is not just limited to materials. It is also relevant if luxury for you means family time, inner peace, or anything intangible. After all, it is subjective, and I leave you with that thought. With that, it's a wrap on this season of Luxe Insider. You heard about watches. You heard about celebrities. You heard about fashion and accessories, auto, weddings, chocolates, and so much more. I sincerely hope you enjoyed listening to this season. I'll be back very soon with a new season. However, I'm waiting to hear your feedback on what you like about the episodes as well as what you like to listen to next. You can email me at podcast@anitakhatri.com or even directly message me on Instagram or LinkedIn. The handles are mentioned in the show notes. Until then, stay tuned and I promise I'll be back very soon. Ciao.